What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and I'm annoyed as hell right now to have to announce that it looks as though elements of the United States government want to shut down and or over-regulate the PC gamer paradise that is Steam.
Here I come to save the day.
A wise man once said that the scariest phrase in the English language is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help," which is precisely what we have going on here with Steam right now. These people are doing what they always do when they've identified someone who is supposedly a threat to their power. They are coordinating an attack in order to drum up opposition against the company. Apparently, according to the ADL, Steam has committed the unforgivable crime of, let me check my notes here, having some people on the platform say things that oversensitive shitheads construe as hate speech.
Hate speech?
Oh shit. There goes the planet.
So now, the Anti-Defamation League, whose name is oxymoronic, emphasis on the moronic part, but the name is an oxymoron because these people seem to be the kings of defaming anyone who doesn't fall in line perfectly with their political agenda. So apparently, they wrote up a report just a week ago or so that says that Steam permits stuff that falls under the nebulous term hate on their platform. And now Steam is in the crosshairs. To be clear, I don't think these jackasses will be able to do much more than fearmonger and attempt to drum up a moral panic, especially considering they are losing much of their political power in just a couple short months, but it goes to show just what they want to do. These people are evil, vile stooges of the divisive political ideology of the screeching harpy feminists.
Whom do you serve?
Wokeness. But alright, let's see what we got going on here with elements of the government, specifically a nincompoop of a United States senator vowing to step in and go after Steam moving forward. The thing is, these people are power-hungry scumbags that want every online place to conform to their worldview, to push people into a place where they will vote for them. And if they encounter something that isn't literally 100% on their side, they will smear them, attack them with lawfare, and attempt to hollow out that platform and recreate it in their image. That is what happened to the gaming industry at large, keep in mind. They chased out a large chunk of the competent people who worked in game studios and in the gaming access media, and those people were replaced with others who were very happy to push forth a progressive ideological agenda. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that there's some grand conspiracy or anything like that. I don't think it was planned. I think these people just naturally behave like locusts. They are brainwashed fools who swarm various spaces until they control them. And then they use those spaces up until all of the resources are consumed. The worst insult is that when these spaces have taken over, when those spaces inevitably fail, they turn toward everyone else and complain that it's our fault that they don't have any more money. And so the best thing you can do is mock and laugh at these jackanapes. They wilt in the face of mass mockery. They demand to be taken super serial, which is why memes have worked so well against them. But let's read about what these idiots are attempting with regards to Steam. We're going to read the absolutely biased so-called journalism in this article from The Verge. The link for the article is not in the description because I have no desire to send traffic their way. But as we read this, keep in mind that this is one of the outlets who has a spot on the Game Awards jury. These are the people who want to try to dictate to us what gamers like. But right away, if you look at the headline, they're already trying to poison the well against Steam, saying, "Senator to Valve. What's with all the 1930s Germans on Steam?" U.S. Senator Mark Warner has sent a letter to Valve CEO Gabe Newell asking if the company intends to take measures to curtail extremist content on Steam. And let me give you a real quick translation here. What they're saying is, this is a largely male-dominated space, and males did not vote the way we wanted them to in the last election, so we'd like to punish them and remove one of their favorite spaces. We've already nuked movies and comic books and large swaths of the video game industry. Now we want to take this away too. But reading on, it says, the letter references a report by the Anti-Defamation League that identified a large number of user accounts and user-created groups that glorified anti-Semitic, 1930s Germans, white supremacist, gender and sexuality-based hate, and other extremist ideologies on the PC gaming platform. The letter features a high-level view of the kind of hateful content the ADL found on Steam. That includes 40,000 groups with names that include hateful words, with the most prominent being 1488, I don't even know what that word is, and white power. Warner's letter highlights how the apparent preponderance of hateful content on Steam is in violation of the platform's own online conduct policy, which prohibits encouraging real-world violence and posting or uploading illegal or inappropriate content. And let me say this, if someone has a username that you don't like, but it isn't a direct call to violence, then it isn't illegal. Period. You can argue it's inappropriate, of course, but you could argue that anything is inappropriate. Literally anything. I could argue, for example, that Baldur's Gate 3 is inappropriate because I don't like bestiality. I could argue that Dragon Age the Veilguard is inappropriate because I don't like the character designs. You could argue that anything you want is inappropriate, but that's the problem with talking about things that might or might not be inappropriate. That's the problem with the nebulous term hate speech. Who gets to determine what is and is not hate? If these people had their way, to be clear, we wouldn't be able to disagree with them on anything that they say. But the article goes on. It says, it is reasonable to question how committed Valve is to effectively implement and enforce Valve's own self-created conduct policy for its users, the letter reads. Content moderation has long been an issue for Steam. Valve only implemented moderation of its video game discussion boards in 2018 after previously leaving the responsibility to the developers themselves. Warner's letter is the third sent by Congress to Valve over the last 3 years, asking the company to answer for the extremist content that has proliferated on Steam. So far, Valve has not publicly responded to these letters, and though Warner's letter threatens Valve with more intense scrutiny from the federal government if it fails to take meaningful action against hate content, First Amendment protections prevent the government from punishing companies for hosting legal, albeit hateful, speech. And thank goodness for that. But see how these absolute partisan hacks in the media frame this shit. They declare that what is happening on Steam is de facto hate speech. They just say that's the case. They assert it, and we're all supposed to nod along and go along with it no matter what. Fortunately, Gabe Newell's best path forward is to do what he's been doing, which is to ignore these idiots. They will lose much of their power in a couple months. That being said, that isn't the case in other countries, and news is just breaking that over in Germany, the Steam store is essentially being forced to block games that don't have an age rating, which will cut into the company's profits for sure. So it does look like this targeted campaign against them is going across international lines. So we're going to want to keep an eye on all this. But fortunately, here in the US at least, the moral crusade they're trying to stir up against video games, like the hyper-religious folks did with D&D back in the 80s, fortunately, that's likely to fall apart here. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of these turds into the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.